Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtam Dvandvadidam Gaganasatrisham Tattvamasyaadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, I welcome all the viewers who have joined with us in all the Kailasa digital platforms. Welcome one and also all the participants who are with us for the kickoff program for Paramashivam. Welcome to you all. Today, we are going to be listening to very, very special life journeys from the founding fathers of Kailasa. Kailasa is the ancient, enlightened Hindu civilizational nation that is led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Paramashivam. And Kailasa stands for ahimsa, and each and every being has the right to be treated as Paramashiva. These are the founding principles of Kailasa. And this land of Kailasa, which brings legitimacy to Hinduism in all its totality, whether it is spiritual, religious, educational, economic, and many more, this nation of Kailasa stands for Tyaga. Swamiji has beautifully revealed in one of the satsangs that Hinduism doesn't need spectators. Hinduism doesn't need commentators. Hinduism only needs Tyagis. And the greatest Tyagi, Tyaga Raja of the millennia is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. After experiencing the brutal persecution for more than a decade, the only life-positive response, the only life-positive response and the ultimate Tyaga that he has done is to create this Hindu nation for one another. And this segment, we are going to be learning about how Tyaga empowers you. It is not how we are misled by the Mekale translation of Tyaga as something called sacrifice. It is never something which is taken away from you. It is something which is adding value to you. It is something which will empower you to experience that quantum leap. This principle of Tyaga, what we have seen in the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's life, we are going to be seeing how Swamiji has empowered and inspired Hindus around the world to demonstrate the principle of Tyaga. So today, we are going to be having life journeys of some of the founding fathers of Kailasa who has contributed towards the Kailasa nation, who are the Sarvanipita Yajamans, and they have demonstrated this principle of Tyaga in their life, and they have demonstrated how Tyaga only gave them more and more abundance. So with no further delay, I'm going to invite all the founding fathers of nation of Kailasa who has joined with me today to share with all the viewers the impact, the importance of Tyaga and how Hinduism really needs Tyagis. We do not want spectators or commentators. So let's get ready to welcome the speakers for today. Right. And yes, I'm going to complete with all the participants for a small delay in getting the speakers of the today. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome all the founding fathers of Kailasa Nation, Nithyanandam. And first we have Ma Sonali Gupta, who is from United States, and she is a consultant. Nithyanandama.
Nithyanandama.
Yes. And we also have Satya RNK, who's from medical profession, and she, Nithyanandama, she's from UK. Yes, and we also have Danny, he's from United States, and he's a real estate consultant.
Nithyanandama.
Great. So it is like I mentioned, it is such a pleasure to have you all in this segment today. And you are living epitomes of what Swamiji has been inspiring all the Hindus to become, which is nothing but becoming the Tyagis, not a spectator or a commentator, but really becoming the Tyagi. And what a beautiful context all of you all hold. Just to know your life journey is something truly inspiring. And so with no further delay, would like to first hear from you all a little bit of background, before you met Swamiji. What were you all doing, and what are the different problems that you saw in your life, and something in your profession? What are the common things that you have seen that the world is facing before you met Swamiji? First, I think we can start with Danny. Would you like to go first?
Sure, Nithyanandama. Yeah, before I met Swamiji, my parents were an atheist. We didn't really believe anything. So things in life just happened. And I didn't have a solid foundation of who I was and what the right moral things to do is. So in life, everything was up and down. So I would have emotions, and I didn't know that there was a thing called completion or my true self. So I had issues, problems with relating to people, questioning myself, my identity to who I was. And I was seeking something a little bit more. I was trying to find a guru to give myself like meaning to life, because I was just thinking everything in life just seems like you're stuck in a rut. So I didn't have that much context, and I saw Swamiji in a YouTube video, and I really identified with his ahimsa, Sanatana Dharma Hinduism, and I just wanted to have a personable guru where I could relate to and follow. And he gave me deep, deep meanings of truth that I didn't have before. So I was confused in everyday life, but he just brought more context, and I just became more solid in my space. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, I think I'm able to relate to what you're saying, Danny, because I have seen, when I used to work in Melbourne, so many of them used to hit that saturation, right, where you feel that you need something more in life. And that's when Guru happens to fulfill us in all the dimensions. Just his presence in our lives fulfill us. That emptiness which we do not even know how to verbalize it, right? That seeking in us, only Guru can fulfill us. So definitely that's a great journey, because I can see so many people out there. We are so used to the regular lifestyle of 9 to 5, and then we have the weekends. We go out, we do lots of things, but we do not connect with life. There is no fulfillment in what we are doing. And that fulfillment, that aspect, what really fulfills us is really experiencing that divinity within us. And only a guru can lead us to that path. So that is a beautiful aspect of what a guru can do to us. Thank you so much for sharing that, Danny. And we'd like to now hear from Sonali. How did you meet Swamiji? And before you met Swamiji, what are the different things that you were doing and experiencing in life?
Yeah, sure, Nithyanandama. So I met Swamiji in 2016, and till then, I would say I was in a state of confusion and I was lost. So externally, there was nothing obviously evident that was missing. But I did feel that I was kind of more and more questioning my whole purpose of why I was doing what I was doing. I was working extremely hard in my external life. I was, in a job that was quite demanding. I was traveling. I was kind of, working very long. But then I was every now and then I was kind of really questioning what is the purpose of all this? What am I doing? What am I missing? Right? And although being brought up as a Hindu, I did not really have a strong spiritual context of what it meant. And if that could really be an answer to any of my problems, I had no context like that. So I was feeling quite lost. And at some point, I really took a short break when I paused and started looking for answers. And I think, as everyone else, I kind of came across a YouTube video. And at that time, I did not even have the context that a guru could lead you to something, right? I mean, I, of course, related with God to the extent that we've all grown up kind of hearing about, Shiva and Krishna. I, of course, connected strongly with them. But I did not have the context that a human form, a guru in human form, could kind of lead me to that. So I came across a very interesting YouTube video where Swamiji was describing how an old lady made him kind of see Krishna. And that gave me goosebumps. I was like kind of dumbstruck that how could something like this even happen? And the authenticity and sincerity with which Swamiji was describing, you knew it was like true, right? It wasn't just somebody just telling a story. So I was like really hooked to that video. And, that's when I started learning more and more about Swamiji. And finally, in the same year, in 2016, I made the decision to attend the December 2016 Sadashivam program.
Beautiful. And like you mentioned, coming across this video about Swamiji having the darshan of Krishna, like how, I think it is in his Parivrajika days, right?
Yes, Ma. He mentioned that he was, yes, in his Parivrajika days, he was, just wandering, and he met a very old lady who was extremely poor. She just had a cow and a small hut. And she was living this very simple lifestyle where she would sell all the ghee and the dairy products. And then whatever little money she made in the night, she offered that to Krishna. Until that, Swamiji was intellectually just, thinking that she's just talking to Krishna and, she's responding on his behalf. So he thought it is just her, imagination or something. But when Swamiji started to leave her hut, she got very attached to Swamiji. So she was praying to Krishna, saying, "Hey, tell this Swami to stay. I don't ask him. He should not leave." And then Swamiji, after that, went to that lady and said, "Hey, this is too much now. You're like talking to Krishna and answering on her behalf. You want me to like really believe this?" And that lady touched Swamiji, and he actually saw Krishna in a small, like in a baby form. That's when Swamiji, kind of described that whole Leela where an old lady who's not even like has any knowledge of scriptures or something was leading such a rich life. And he actually, gave him that experience of like seeing Krishna. So that was an amazing video, like the way he described the whole story.
See, one thing I wanted to mention here, how Swamiji occurs, the first occurrence of Guru, it is so unique and so special to each and every person, right? So from hearing about Swamiji saying that, okay, I've seen Krishna, to realizing him as Krishna, the whole journey is such a quantum leap. But yet Swamiji occurs to each and every person in the typical way how we can connect to him, right? Like how, he could have occurred to you in a different, so many videos are there out there in YouTube, but this special connection that you had with Krishna, and you get to hear this video where Swamiji is talking about he had the darshan of Krishna. That is exactly how precise, how beautiful, how Swamiji connects all of us, how he happens in all of our lives. So nice to share, nice to hear from Sonali. And now I would like to hear from Masachi Nityananda. And would you like to share with all of us your journey, how you met Swamiji, and before Swamiji, what are the different things that you were doing and seeing in the world, and how it transformed after you met Swamiji?
Yes, Nityananda Ma. How I met Swamiji. I mean, me and my family have been like very dedicated Hindus and on the spiritual path really for a long time. So, we did follow some gurus and had very great experiences and everything. But I was probably in a rut. I was definitely in a rut, I think, in 2017 before I met Swamiji. It was very difficult to kind of I felt the sharp contrast between my everyday life and my spiritual life, you could say. I was kind of weighed down in a sense by seeing the world and seeing how the Maya matrix is, and people are so disconnected, so I felt a little bit of isolation. I was just, as a medical physician, I mean, I was glad and happy when I could help, but I was definitely absorbing like the suffering of the people and the negativity. And I felt like I was giving my own energy away. And it was kind of a difficult time on the job as well with the demands. And so I was kind of at a low point, and Swamiji really came spontaneously for me. At that point in time, our family, we had started learning about the work that Rajiv Malhotra is doing. And we had known something about, Adhyatma, spiritual practices, but we really didn't know anything about how Hinduism is under threat in both a systemic way by, various anti-Hindu forces, and how the newer generations are really losing it and not getting the exposure, and not understanding the importance of the Hindu gurus, the Shastras, and everything like that. And so it's not getting transmitted to the next generation. And so we started getting more interested into that. And then me and my father just happened to see an interview on YouTube between where Rajiv Malhotra is interviewing Swamiji. And so we found it very interesting, and I learned a lot, especially that I did find it, me and my father found it unique that Swamiji was really the one guru, because who was really very bravely and kind of proudly standing up for Hinduism and acknowledging the challenges that Hinduism faces, and not just like many Hindu gurus just will not acknowledge that and won't really talk about it. And Swamiji was bravely standing up for that, and he was explaining many of the intricacies of the Shastras that were very eye-opening and important, such as the like, how do you judge spirituality to know if you're on the right path and whether you're likely to reach the highest goal? Well, it should be in alignment with our Shastras, and that's called Shastra Praman. It should be something that rishis and the great beings have themselves experiences, Apta Praman, and then it should fit your own experience, so things like that were very eye-opening, and I thought it was very interesting. But then, I really forgot about that. We didn't particularly notice Swamiji as such, and it forgot about it in a way. And then amazing thing was, like, a few months later, out of the blue, Swamiji just suddenly entered my consciousness. And I was in a state of very tired, very down, and I was suddenly elevated into bliss, and light, just filled with light and bliss, and this cosmic sense of just joy and just friendliness. I don't know, universal sense of friendliness. And he was very joyful and light, and it was just a state of joy and bliss, and he was just continuously with me, and somehow I recognized it was him. And then he started he was with me 24/7, really, and then giving me dream darshans too. And like, for example, some younger forms of Swamiji that I hadn't seen them yet, because I hadn't seen that necessarily, that younger form of Swamiji. But he started giving me amazing, very sweet and full of Shakti dream darshans. So it was a big contrast to the state that I was in. And it was like that, you know. And so he really just stayed with me in that form. I mean, you know, that continuous presence. And because of that, I started watching videos. And my father, after he heard of my experiences, so we both started watching videos together of Swamiji. And then I just became, would just immerse myself in him. I just wanted to hear more and more and more. So whenever I had free time, I would watch Swamiji's videos. And then it was very amazing because I had read many spiritual books, but he was the first master who really put all of the knowledge of Hinduism, all of the different paths, not just focusing primarily on bhakti or jnana or karma, or he was the most holistic and in-depth guru, and so many secrets that he gave. And so like that, me and my father just became more and more, and his really his presence never left after that, you know. And that's kind of this situation.
I think that is so magical, isn't it? Like the way how
Yes, definitely magical is a good word.
Swamiji is the father. he showed you the path, and he made you to experience all this rich spiritual darshans in the tree, and then started the intellectual knowledge. See, many times because we are so caught up in intellectual level, if you are so caught up in the length level, he had to appear in a way where your depth can recognize him. So we come to the listening and start seeing whatever he's telling is the truth. And that is exactly what we were looking for, isn't it?
Definitely, Ma. It was because I had some spiritual background, so maybe I would not have recognized him as my guru if I just watched some videos, but I just needed his presence and for him to come alive in me. And then it was undeniable, continuous presence, you know. And so that's how it was for me.
Beautiful. So from there, how your speaking evolved, right? From there, how you started learning about in Hinduism, learning about all these shastras. What made you to get inspired by all the other things that Swamiji was doing? Because you mentioned that you were just introduced to Hinduism, and your father had this inclination to shastras and how it is very important for the revival of dharma. So from but not directly as your understanding. So from there, how this understanding evolved, and why you started feeling that something has to be done for Hinduism?
Well, I mean, I had I really never knew of any guru who was actively doing anything for Hinduism as a whole. So I never really had that concept. I was just kind of learning about how, Hinduism is under threat. You know, that was a new learning for me. So it's not something I had really ever thought of. And so really, since we had stood by Hinduism our whole life, I had to be integrated to that. And then Swamiji was here, even teaching me even more about the importance of Hinduism, and that the work he's doing for Hinduism. So, so because of that, and when I found out that there is an opportunity to contribute to Hinduism, then I guess I really had to take the leap, and so to really be integrated to what I'd always felt, and I thought I supported my whole life, but didn't really know or have a way of supporting it in a more substantial or powerful way. That will even help the new generations of Hindus.
That's so true, Mom, because the way how Swamiji has introduced Hinduism to Hindus, that I think this narrative was never ever heard, right? Like it is like you mentioned, there is no other guru who is working on this aspect because we truly feel that there is no need for a guru in the first place. That is how we are brainwashed, and how many of the Puranas and all the historic evidences that Hinduism has got and revealing to the world more and more, everything is actually taught to us as a myth, right? And from that space to even understand everything, whatever we have heard, everything are historical facts. And in fact, many of the historical facts are misinterpreted and given a wrong narrative to what we understand today as Hinduism. And it's only Swamiji who's the only Hindu guru who's actually bringing out these facts, making it as a science, and making us experience that this is something practical and it is demonstratable to all of us. And that is exactly what Kailasa is doing today. Through Kailasa, Swamiji is reviving all of these efforts, all of these aspects of how Hindus can live Hinduism, isn't it? And
yes, absolutely, Ma.
Yes, and other thing is from that space, how did you decide that you have to become a founding father of Kailasa Nation, and that entire journey of making it happen? I'd like to hear from you on that.
Well, I learned about the opportunity to become an SJP after my father attended a Paramashivam program in Bidadi in December 2018. And he became very excited after attending that program. And then soon after, we heard from some sannyasis who contacted us, me and my father, and explained this opportunity to become an SJP. Again, it was like a completely new concept. I always thought we'd always donated a little bit, but I never knew that you could make such a big contribution, and how really the whole concept that really when you're donating, it's to the universe, and the universe showers or cosmos showers on you as well. And all of this was completely new. But really, I guess, but interestingly, my father did had this thought. He's getting older and he wanted to contribute to Hinduism. This was just before we met Swamiji or learned about Swamiji, but he didn't really know how he could do that. I think especially after hearing about Raji Malhotra, he's like, I want to really give my savings for Hinduism, And so amazingly, then we learned about Swamiji. He came into our life, and then this opportunity came in, and I think everything just really came together, and both me and my father just kind of took the leap and became SJPs. And it just happened like that. So.
Oh, wow. See, one thing that you mentioned about Sarvaparityagis, right? Like how your father had decided, from a soul, he started feeling that he needs to do something about Hinduism and something for Hinduism.
Yes.
And this is exactly what Swamiji was revealing during that moment in 2019, that Hinduism really needs Sarvaparityagis, people who can do Tyaga. When Swamiji says Tyaga, it is not the Tyaga that we understand, but rather, because it is poorly, that is something. Yes. So when Swamiji talks about yes, sorry for the technical glitch. So we lost Saji for a moment, and when she's back, we'll definitely add her to the frame and we'll discuss more about her journey. But I want to finish that point on how Tyaga is not how we understand as sacrifice, because we always connect sacrifice as something which is leaving our system, which we have to let go of, and it can make us feel that something left and something incomplete. That is how we tend to think that sacrifice can do to us. But Swamiji has beautifully defined Tyaga as per Hinduism. Tyaga is nothing but asserting our higher identity, right? So what is the higher identity? It is Paramashiva. Paramashiva is the higher identity, and you prioritize Paramashiva as the first. You prioritize your higher identity as the first and let go of all the lower identities without demanding an explanation. It is such a beautiful way how Swamiji has defined. Tyaga is nothing but asserting your higher identity, which is I am Paramashiva, over all other identities. Just choosing the right over pleasant is what is Tyaga. So Hindus, all we need to do is, what is our higher identity? Being treated as Paramashiva, realizing that we are Paramashiva. This is the highest identity that we can ever hold. And Kailasa is the only place where you can experience that higher identity. No other place can give you this experience other than Kailasa. And Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving the Vedas, reviving all the techniques and technologies, every single aspect of Hinduism, only for us to realize that we are Paramashiva, and each and every being, every living being has that right to be treated as Paramashiva. So doing the Tyaga, asserting our higher identity that I am Paramashiva, and rest everything can simply follow, right? Rest everything can simply follow is the right, choosing right over pleasant. That is exactly what Hindus has to do. Right now we may think, okay, I have these commitments, I have, these problems. Yes, you have problems, you have incompletions, you have other commitments, but all these commitments are pleasant. But what is the right? Right is nothing but you establishing yourself as Paramashiva. And that will happen only when you support the Kailasa nation. So everybody who's out there, let's take a moment to sign up as Sarva Parityagis and sign up as the Sarvanipita Ejamans, right? So when you support the Kailasa as a Sarvanipita Ejaman, you are established in the space of Paramashiva, because you become the very extensions of Swamiji, right? So only it is a space that you carry that makes you a Sarvanipita Ejaman. It is not what you offer, right? So for you to manifest that space, just prioritizing and asserting yourself, that higher identity over everything else you have in your life, right? So that will simply make you that Sarvanipita Ejaman. So I request everybody to take this moment and sign up as sksjp.org/contribute. So that is the link, sksjp.org/contribute. Right. And also would like to share with all of you, this Tyaga will never make you feel that something you have left in life. You always feel so much of abundance. Masachi, who has just shared her decision as soon as her father decided, okay, I'm going to become a Sarva Parityagi and give all the offerings, whatever I had, to Swamiji to revive Hinduism. When he made the decision and when she made the decision, they only experienced more and more abundance. They never felt that something is lagging in life and they have to work for it more or anything, but rather abundance consciousness, the wealth consciousness started happening in them. Because that is the power of Tyaga. Tyaga will only empower you more and more. Tyaga will make you to experience that quantum shift, right? So this is the journey of this is the journey of Ma Sachi Aranke, and shortly Right. Next, we have Ma Sonali Gupta, who's going to further share her journey, right from listening to Swamiji, who saw the Krishna in his Parivrajika days, how she realized him as Krishna, the further journey of her doing the programs and her experiencing Swamiji is what we will listen from her. Yes, Ma Sonali, would you like to share?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So, Ma, you're right. What started as, Swamiji can lead me to something, as, me seeing him as a means to an end, the cognition deepened and shifted to kind of seeing him as the end, because I kind of realized more and more that he is Paramashiva, right? So it's not that he's leading to a different end. Of course, he's leading to God, but then he is God, right? So I think that cognition only deepened. And of course, he's here to make all of us realize that we are God. So that shift was very important. And, it just deepened as I kind of, attended more and more sessions with Swamiji and had more and more initiations and darshans. So that was a beautiful journey from there to kind of really realize what Swamiji stood for and what he was reviving.
Yes, ma. So from that space, right, like how is the end? What made you to prioritize that contributing towards Hindu nation as one of your life goals? Because you are young and you have you've been working in the corporate world. You have seen so many things in life, and you have this real experience with Swamiji, and you also know what is ahead of your life. So, what really gave you that shift that, okay, let me now prioritize contributing towards Hindu nation as one of my life goals? What actually really gave you that shift, and how did it happen?
Absolutely, Ma. So, Ma, when I attended the first program itself, and I heard about this whole Sarvanyapita, project and what it meant, I had a strong, in my being level, I had a strong desire, and I knew I wanted to do that. Just that the timing of when and how it will happen was, of course, I wasn't very sure, but I wanted very strongly to stand for it. And because I kind of saw that if there was one investment I could make in life, right, like this was the place I would like to put my money, right? Like this is really the best thing I can do for the world. And Swamiji said in that Sadashivoham program that, I want to make the statement to the world that Hinduism is real, right? And everything we was doing was like so authentic, like the real authentic version of Hinduism. It was not the diluted version. It was not like, something to kind of appease to the Western world, or, it was not some kind of, changed version that was being marketed. It was like real Hinduism in its best authenticity. And I really thought like I don't think I knew of a better way to use my money, right? Like what can I put my money in that can do something better for the world, right? So I kind of knew this is what I wanted to do. So that seed was there when I met him for the first time. Then it was a question of like when and how it unfolded. And I went through my own like intellectual struggle of saying, it's too big. And the other challenge I had was I was the only one in my family who had made that jump and, kind of walking and going towards Swamiji. Others were not there, right? So how do I kind of convince everybody of, something this big that I wanted to do? So of course, all of those things happened over the course of next few years. And then in 2020, I think 3 or 4 years after that, I think one day I just realized that it is not going to happen automatically. Like I need to make that strong decision. And then I think it was one of the darshans or Devi darshans, I just made a very strong intention that I cannot postpone it any further. Like I have to do it today, right? Like I have to make it happen. And at that decision itself led to like really next few days was, I think in a week or so after that, I actually became a Sarvanyapita Yajaman.
Wow.
So it was just a matter of like making that strong decision and going for it.
Yes, like you beautifully said, Ma, it is only that intention and decision, because everybody has got that resource to make it happen. Though we may feel that, oh, how is it possible? I don't have it. But actually, once you make that decision, you will see that the resources are already there. Because Swamiji has beautifully shared in one of the satsangs, if you have that intention, then I'm already blessed. I am only giving you that intention, right? So out of so many people who have heard about all the different contributions of Swamiji, you had that intention that, I want to become Sarvanyapita Yajaman. So already you are blessed. Right? only when that intention will start sprouting in you with His grace, and He makes it happen when that intention intensifies, right? When you make that strong decision. So it is really that decision that makes that whole thing happen. And from that space, right? Like how are you experiencing a shift, whether it is spiritual shift after you became the Savagapita Yajaman? What is that spiritual shift you are having? Because contributing $200,000 from your life savings towards this cause, it is a huge step. Now, after you took this step, how empowered are you feeling? What are the different changes that you're seeing in yourself?
So I think the biggest shift is really that space of possibility has expanded and opened. So I can really see that anything and everything that we decide is possible. And I've seen that, like, Swamiji demonstrate that in multiple ways, right? In multiple areas of my life. And I've like felt that, this is it. Like, there's nothing, no way forward, right? Whether it comes to like career situations, there've been times I've also had like, situations where I felt like there's nothing, I'll just lose my job at this point, or, even in relationships when I felt like this is like the, really the end of it. But it's really our own fears. And I've seen that space of possibility that has opened up, that anything you kind of, all our fears are self-created, right? So that is that, that worry melted, that the whole like space of possibility opened. And I just created a new kind of confidence where, even if there is a problem, Swamiji has given such a strong unclutching space that we can, just kind of connect to Swamiji, through the Mahavakya, and just like step back and realize that Swamiji will take care, right? He will take care. It's just like, I just have to go through it and, not let the fear come in, not give in to the power of fear, but like really feel powerful inside. So that experience has become real after kind of taking that jump. And I kind of feel that strong cosmic protection, like it's almost like being in the cosmic womb and feeling that I'm part of Swamiji's family. Like, it's the same, like I'm part of his very own group, his own family, and he will take care no matter what. So that strength of like having Guru by your side is something that nothing else can, replace.
Beautiful. And that you mentioned having Guru by your side after becoming the Savagapita Yajaman, how you feel that you're feeling connection with Swamiji, and when Swamiji says that all the founding fathers of Kailasa, all this Savagapita Yajamans are my family, first family. So how do you feel, and how you have experienced this space with Swamiji over the last few years since you've become the Yajaman?
Yeah. So a lot of powerlessness in me about, like, let's say even wealth related impossibilities or powerlessness on, how we are kind of conditioned by the society that we need to, save money for a secure future. Otherwise, something will like really not work out. So all of that powerless and money related insecurities have definitely gone. Secondly, to your point, Ma, like it is being Swamiji's own family and knowing that, if I have a problem, he's just one message away, or, he's right there. I think that is the ultimate guarantee, right? Like just knowing I can, reach out to Swamiji and he will guide, either as, my own inner voice, or he will answer my question for sure, or he'll look at my question and, if we, if something is happening, it is, it is still auspicious, like he's making it, he's looking it through. So I think that is the most important shift that has happened. And I'll say, like, also I think he has led to expansion on all levels, intellectual level, emotional level, and being level, right? So all three levels, I feel like a massive expansive space where, there is just completion in all different levels, and there's this continuous space to kind of, look at things in a way that, everything is auspicious. So that is a blessing.
Wow. So nice to hear from you, man. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And definitely, people, whoever is listening to this will take that step, right? What you've really showed to us is how when you decide, things will start happening. It's all there. And Swamiji is making it happen for all of us. And how that space of insecurity, right? How Swamiji beautifully removes that space, step by step, in a way that you can start feeling so powerful about our whole life. Thank you so much for joining. And definitely your space has enriched us, and we'll look forward to you. Another occasion, we'll definitely look forward to you listening to more of your experiences being part of the founding fathers of Kailasa.
Nityananda, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. So one of the things that so beautifully, which Ma One of the things that really striking in what Ma Sonali shared is making that decision, right? Once you made the decision, by the power of Tyaga, you can actually experience that quantum shift. Lifelong, we may have experienced so many impossibilities and insecurities in life, but moment you make this decision to take that quantum jump, making yourself feel that, okay, whatever you have earned in this lifetime, let it go to this higher cause. That decision when you make, literally Swamiji gives you that shift, gives you that powerful breakthrough, right? So I request everybody, whoever is listening to these amazing sharings, just make that decision, right? You may have created that intention to become part of Sarvapita, Ejaman and founding fathers of Kailasa. Yes, you have that intention. All it really requires is, yes, I'm going to do it now. Moment you start from that space of, okay, I'm going to do it now, then all the resources which is there will start opening up for you. You will start seeing that, yes, there is a resource now, right? Till you take the decision that I'm going to let go of all my insecurities, I'm going to do Tyaga of all my insecurities, I'm just going to establish and assert my higher identity over everything else. Moment you start asserting that higher identity over everything else, the space of Tyaga flowers. The space of quantum leap, quantum superconscious breakthrough will start flowering inside you, because all great things in life has happened only from Tyaga. The very life, it is happening from deep compassion of Paramashiva and his Tyaga. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has created this whole Kailasa nation from ultimate Tyaga. So great things in life can happen from Tyaga, and Tyaga is not sacrifice, it is just asserting your highest identity, which is Paramashiva. You asserting your Paramashivatva over every single incompletions and self-doubts and insecurities is what is Tyaga. So that is a wonderful sharing from Ma Sonali Gupta, who shared how just by her making that decision, the whole resource became available to her, and she was able to become the Sarvapita Ejman. So I request everybody to make that jump, make that intention today by signing up in sksjp.org/contribute. Right. So everybody can start signing up in sksjp.org/contribute, and your intention to start your journey. You can actually mention there how you want to start your journey. Yes, I just give few minutes for all of you to sign up in sksjp.org/contribute before we go to the next speaker of the day, Danny Tang, who is going to share his wonderful experiences, how he progressed in his journey with Swamiji and how he became a Sarvapita Ejman. Right, now we have Danny Tangaya, who's going to share further his journey. He said how he met Swamiji in a YouTube video that literally shifted his life. And there are very interesting moments that he has got when he had the personal darshan, physical darshan of Swamiji in Adi Kailasa and Nityananda. So I request Aya to Why don't you share about your powerful experience in Bidadi when you met Swamiji?
Yeah, in 2019, I was at Bidadi, volunteering at Paramashivam, and I did a Dial the Avatar. And he wasn't at Bidadi at that time, but I asked him, what career moment should I take? And he told me to do real estate. And with that, I also I had a strong desire, just like Sonali, to give to the world, because Swamiji advocates for so much stuff. He does anadan, he gives food, he gives like all these darshans every day. And I felt like he was a true leader that is helping Hindus worldwide experience this. And I just wanted to contribute myself to a part of his mission. And the mission is so everybody live in a enlightenment civilization. I thought that was the best that I contribute to the world is, I've gotten so much from Guru, so I just wanted to give back. So I also asked him for SJP, and of course he blessed me and gave me Tatastu. And from that, um, although I didn't have a job, I didn't know how I was going to get the money. I did, we my family had a house, and then at the end we decided to sell. And then from that moment on, I remember the promise that I made, and Swamiji gave me that blessing. So I wanted to complete that. I wanted to do something for myself and the world, because the world needs an enlightenment civilization, and I thought that was the best way I can contribute. So I just made the decision just to donate. I really didn't think much of it, because, in the whole world, it's people are going to say, don't do this, you should do this. I just had a cognition that I would keep to my integrity. If I asked Swamiji, hey, can I be a SJP? And he blessed me, I should complete that. And I think everybody should experience Kailasa. Giving is not only for the world, but for yourself too. And, Swamiji is always there for me. He gives me cognitions every time I get blessed with darshans. There's so much I've been enriched just by him being my guru. And I feel really grateful. So I just wanted to do my part to become a founding father.
So beautiful, Dania, yeah, because one thing that you mentioned, right? Giving is not for others, it is actually for yourself also. I think this is the right understanding about giving, which Hindus have forgotten today, definitely. Because when I say Hindus, it's both living and the practicing Hindus. And this is exactly what we need today. When we start giving, we only enrich ourselves more and more, because the very act of giving, the dhana, as per Hinduism, is only to empower you. It is not empowering somebody outside, because when you give, you are overcoming all your incompletions, STHDs, insecurities. You are actually asserting your higher existence, right? Only then we have that thought of giving. So when we decide to give for this contribution, like, see, you've decided, Aya, like, okay, let me contribute. But what really inspired you? What made you feel that, okay, this contribution, you had actually sold your house, right, towards this contribution. So what made you to take that jump and say that this is important, this you want to prioritize over all the other decisions and needs that you had? Because that will really help all of us to understand why we should prioritize this over other things. Can you please expand on that, Aya?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think too much of it. It was just more of surrendering. But I did want to fulfill this desire. If I thought to myself, I would take this money and do an investment, of course, maybe I'll get a tenfold, maybe not. But at that moment, I had the money, and this is just a completion that I had with myself. And I took the leap because I felt that was the right thing to do. Because things in life come up. At one point, if I say, okay, let me make more money, let me put it off, I just said, you know what, I'm going to make the correct decision and become an SJP, because if I don't do it now, then maybe I won't do it. So I just didn't really think that much, and I just go, you know what, I committed to it. This is something I want to do, and I'm proud to be a part of this enlightened civilization. I just thought the world at this moment really needs it, and there's no best person to give it to other than Swamiji, because he knows what to do with it. He knows he can enrich more and more people, to bring more and more people to this Kailasa. So maybe that was just what I thought.
Yes, that's exactly right, Ayab. Sorry. Yes, so that's exactly right, Ayab, because Swamiji is the only one who's reviving this Kailasa, and by us saying, okay, this is the way I want to contribute, and this is the way I feel proud of being part of this movement, is a clear decision that you made. And when you asserted that decision, that Yaga simply happened through you. So I request all the participants and viewers, whoever is watching this, please understand, it is your decision. When you make that decision to assert yourself to that higher identity, in the case of Danny, he said that I want to be part of this great happening. So when he asserted his identity towards that, then simply all the other insecurities and STHTs, whatever is stopping him from doing that Tyaga, simply happened, right? So it is a question of where you want to assert yourself. Do you want to assert yourself for things that are perishable, or do you want to assert yourself for something extraordinary, something that is going to change the world, something that is going to revive Hinduism, and something that is going to stand with all the efforts that Swamiji is doing for the world? So just make that decision. Once you make the decision, you will see how things will beautifully start to align. And all you need to do is register yourself in skshp.org/contribute, and you will be able to connect with global team lead who will help you, who will empower you how to make that journey, how you can become a celebrity Rejima. And Danny, thank you so much for joining the segment today. Surely your life journey, it was in such a simple way how you explained, whether it is how Guru happened in your life or how you made the decision. You didn't make it sound like something difficult or something you had to work on it. You just, in a very simple way, you explained your feeling connection and your commitment to Swamiji and Kailasa Mission. Thank you so much. It was truly inspiring to all of us. And I'm sure many viewers will definitely get enriched by your sharing.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Yes, dear viewers, I'm sure all of you had amazing moment just listening to all these sharings of Danny Tang, Sonali Guptama, and also Masachi Aranke. Such a beautiful way how they had connected to Swamiji. Such simple connections, simple, beautiful, innocent connections, and that innocent surrender, and that ability to do Tyaga, right? But the moment that decision happens, when they take that strong step, how they are able to manifest it, and at the same time they're able to see that abundance simply starting to flow, right? So my question now to all of you, all participants, whoever is here, getting ready for that moment to receive the darshan of Swamiji, let us make that decision, let us make that sankalpa. What actually is stopping you from doing that Tyaga, right? So I request all of you, you can actually go to Facebook event page, and you can actually post who's ready to do their Tyaga, who's ready to make that conscious effort, make that step, which is going to empower you to become a Sarvangapita Yajama. You may have various resources, whether it is your investments, or whether it is your retirement funds, whether it is your property, whatever may be positions, any positions, whatever you may have, are you ready to do Tyaga of that? right? Are you ready to do Tyaga of that? For you to raise yourself to become the founding fathers, to become the Sarvanipita Yajamans of Kailasa. So requesting all of you to post your comment, your decision to assert your higher identity, right? So that is how Swamiji has defined Tyaga. It is nothing but asserting your highest identity. So who is ready to do that Tyaga and become the Sarvanipita Yajaman today? You can post that in the event page. And if you're feeling, yes, I really want to do, but there is something within me just stopping me to take an action. If you feel so, you can also post your request to scan, and I'll be scanning through my third eye. Right, requesting all of you to post that decision. Who is going to do the Tyaga? Ma Dharmadharananda, Nityananda, Malanyang, Robert Ramaya, Ivana, all of you. Is anybody who is going to decide today to make that Tyaga? Okay, yes, whatever I have, I'm going to give it to Swamiji and do that Tyaga and experience that quantum leap. How many of you are ready to take that jump? You can post that. Ma Ananda Mahapurna, Nityananda. Are you ready to do and experience that Tyaga? Sada Nityapriya. Ma Yogamalar. All of you can start posting your decision, and if you feel that, okay, can you put that link? Yes, I'm going to type that link here. It is sksjp.org/contribute. So, Ma Virupaksha, it is sksjp.org/contribute. And who is ready to do Tyaga? Can you ask your French participants, is there anybody who is deciding to do the Tyaga? Who is deciding today, whatever I have, let me contribute to Swamiji. Let this position go towards the highest cause. Who is deciding that today? It is not that we do not have resources. We only have to choose. We only have to assert our higher identity. That's all. The moment you decide to assert your higher identity, you will see there are so many infinite resources available to you, which you can offer, by which you can become the Sarvanipita Yajama. Okay, sksjp.org/contribute. Ma Virupaksha, can you enrich your French participants and let me know who is going to do the Tyaga? Okay, so Ma Yogananda Rupini saying, I would like to do the Tyaga and then go to the next step towards Adinavasi. What would I have to liberate, complete, etc. and how ma? Great. So, Ma Yogananda Rupini, are you saying you want to do Tyaga of what you have towards Sarvanipita and then become Adinavasi, or you want to become an Adinavasi? So, do you want to contribute towards SJP and become Adinavasi? Can you please clarify that question? And I'm going to do that, and I'll answer to you. Ma Yogananda Rupini? Yes. All the other participants, whoever is here in MPSM kickoff program, let us all make a decision. Really, it requires nothing. If all of us come together, you can actually see how many windows you have in the Zoom room. At least 60 people, 70 people are there in each of the Zoom rooms. If you all decide, okay, today let me do the Tyaga. Today let me decide to, whatever I have, let me contribute towards Kailasa and do that Tyaga. If you make that conscious decision, you will see that literally in few days the Kailasa will be open to all of us. It is just me, that ferocious Tyaga, ferocious decision that I'm going to do it now. I'm going to assert my highest identity over all other identities. Yes, Robert Ramaya, thank you so much. And it's a wonderful cause, and I am working on manifesting. Thank you, Aya, for sharing. And Aya, you are going to manifest it, right? You just decide it is happening now. What you have, are you ready to do the Tyaga? See, actually, listen to all the stories, right? Whether it is Sonali Gupta or Sachi Arenke or Danny Tan, it is just a decision for them. And moment they decided, everything that they have, they just contributed and they only expanded themselves after that, right? Okay, so my Yogananda Rupini, so you want to become an Adinavasi. Okay, there are many opportunities that Kailasa has for you to become Adinavasi. You can actually, I'll contact you the message how you can become an Adinavasi, and I'll also connect you with somebody who can take you towards the next steps. Thank you so much, my Yogananda Rupini. Okay, Ma Ananda Mahapurna has filled the form. Thank you so much. Ma Saralananda intends to. So, Ma Virupaksha, can you ask Ma Saralananda, can she decide today, whatever she has, whether it is a retirement fund, whatever life in business, whatever she has, is she ready to do Tyaga and take that step, take that jump to become the SJP? Yes, thank you, Mayogananda Rupini. Ma Dharmadharananda, are you there? What is that ferocious Tyaga are you going to do to make it to become a Savanyapita Yajaman? Dharmadharananda? Okay, she's ready to fill the form. Okay, ma'am. She can fill the form. So can you please fill on her behalf? See, actually, I thought she has already filled the form, right? Virupaksha? See, everybody who has filled the form already, you need to take an action. Only then you will start seeing the flow of life, right? How things will start flowing. Yes, I request everybody to take this moment and start. Okay, so if she is not sure of filled it already, she can fill it now. That's great. So, Virupaksha, you have to make her to take an action. It is simply possible, right? Today, let her take some action. Let her come out of the insecurities and just take an action. Patricia, are you there in the session? I really would like you also to take an action. See, this Tyaga that you decide today, Tyaga that you decide to become, to take today, it is going to make you to experience a higher dimension in life, a higher abundance in life, right? So with that note, I'm going to end this session with the Purna Mantra. I thank all the viewers, all the participants who have been interacting with me. And with the participants, I'm going to interact separately. And thanking all the viewers who has joined with me in Kailasa's digital platform. Thanks a lot. And I hope this session has been truly enriching for all of you, because to me, it brought so many beautiful dimensions of how Guru happens in our lives, and how he literally shifts our space to such abundance. He is the epitome of Tyaga, and when he inspires us to take that step, how we become Tyagarajas and how we become that space of Paramashiva. Thank you so much all for joining the segment today. And with that note, would like to end with the Purna Mantra. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओं तत्सत् सर्वं भगवत् श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु ॐ नित्यानन्दम्